exceptional experience in the banking industry. Sir joined SBI in 1985 and is currently the President and CEO of the SBI Foundation. Sir also initiates the CSR activities of the State Bank of India. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So my first question to you is, so talking about the SBI Foundation, so one imperative aspect is the flagship program, Youth for India. So can you tell us more about how it is working towards promoting social entrepreneurship, specifically for the youth?
Okay.
Yes.
The SBI Youth for India Fellowship is one of the premium rural fellowships in India. We get almost 7,000 applications per year from all across the world. Very highly educated youth. Some of them are graduated from Harvard or Oxford University or reputed institutes in India. Some are from IIMs, IITs. Some are left their careers with PwC, Ernst & Young, chartered accountants. There are doctors. So that is the profile of youth who apply for this fellowship. We shortlist around 550 and then interact with all the 550 in various centers in India. Based on that, we select around 100 fellows every year. And this fellowship was started by SBI to provide a platform for highly educated urban youth to connect with the rural aspirations. We also wanted that highly educated youth should go to the development sector. And another goal in having this fellowship was that we require more social entrepreneurs. So we thought if highly educated youth go to the villages, see the grassroots realities, they will be prompted to start something to help the rural folk be in livelihood, etc. And luckily that is what is happening. In every batch we get at least 5 to 6 youth who are becoming social entrepreneurs. There is a story of one Anand Vats who was a M.Tech in civil engineering from IIT Chennai. He was as a fellow, he was in Dang district, Gujarat, a tribal district, where he worked with tribal bamboo craftsmen. And because of his mechanical engineering background, he devised some small equipment to reduce the drudgery of bamboo craftsmen. So after the fellowship was over, he went back to the project location and he started a social enterprise. Now it is giving livelihood opportunity to 6 to 7 tribal bamboo craftsmen. Similarly, there is a story of a girl, she is a lawyer from Delhi. She left the lawyer profession, joined as a fellow, and she was also in Dang district, Gujarat, where she mobilized women and she started a social enterprise where bamboo-based jewelry is produced. And after the fellowship also, she is now running that unit, mentoring that unit. So there are several examples of youth going towards social enterprise due to this fellowship.
Yes, sir. So next question I would like to ask is, talking about the State Bank of India, one of the major strengths of the bank is its formidable network, the kind of rural penetration that it has. So, sir, are there any initiatives being specifically taken up for the purpose of inclusive growth, for including the rural sector into the mainstream development? So, are there any such initiatives specifically?
See, SBI is always stood for inclusivity.
Yes.
And wherever a chance is provided, SBI was the first bank to jump and seize that opportunity. Like Northeast, if you see, compared to other parts of India, it is less developed.
Yes.
Many banks were not willing to be the lead bank of this area.
Yes.
But you see, SBI is the lead bank of many of the states in Northeast. We are starting rural branches wherever it is viable. We are starting rural branches. We have, I think, a very good network. Thousands of banking correspondents who go to villages and like almost banking service at the doorstep they are providing. And all the even providing agriculture loan to farmers. SBI is taking a lot of care for that. We have rural self-employment training institutes, 151 of them all over India, which is training almost 100,000 youths every year in various skills, so that after completing this training, they will be able to start some micro enterprise. So SBI has always been proceeding or operating with this inclusive feeling in mind.
Yes, sir. So next question would be, so talking in context of the Indian economy right now, so there's a downturn going on and with the GDP constantly slipping down. To be specific, 4.5% in the second quarter. So the government is taking a lot of initiatives to inject liquidity, specifically in the banking sector. So let's just say about it is cutting down the repo rates, the merger of the public sector banks. These are the steps taken by the government. So how do you think this will overall affect the banking sector and specifically State Bank of India, being that State Bank of India is one of the key players in the public sector banking industry? So.
See, SBI, as I told you, being part of the banking system, whatever happens in the system, SBI also to some extent gets affected. Consequently, our credit growth also was not to the level which it was in the previous year. But then, as you told, government has initiated many measures, and in the months to come, the results of all these will be evident. Like our SBI chairman had recently told that retail loans are picking up. Only corporate loans, that they are not been utilizing much because the demand has come down. But over a period of 3 to 4 months, I am sure this is going to pick up because of the measures taken by the government, increasing liquidity into the banking system. The banks are having funds to lend, and the insolvency bankruptcy code which has been put into implementation. So many NPSs are getting resolved. So all these bring the liquidity into the system, and banks also, unlike earlier time, earlier period, bankers also are now of the they have the confidence that even account begins the NPA, there is some method to there is a system available to resolve the issue, and therefore that fear of these accounts becoming NPA and therefore not lending, all are sliding. So in the year, months to come, I am sure these steps taken by the government or RBI will be showing results.
Yes, sir. So you just mentioned about NPA. So we all know how crucial NPA is for any banking, for any bank. So talking about NPAs, the NPA ratio of SBI is comparatively higher as compared to the other banks. Currently, it's around 7.5% of the total loans. So it's slightly higher as compared to other banks or as compared to the international average. So is there any specific reason behind it, or how do you guys address this problem? I mean, are you taking any specific steps to solve this problem?
Compared to international banks and all, NPA of Indian banking system is quite high.
Yes, sir.
That is due to a lot of structural issues or a lot of factors.
Yes, sir.
One of the main issue could be the quality of credit appraisal,
Yes.
quality of credit monitoring. So and also delay in recognizing that an account is NPA. So all this RBI was also very much aggressive to see that banks recognize NPAs. So all these happened in the last few years. Therefore, there has been a hike in NPAs. But this has been an experience for the banks, and banks have put in lot of measures. Like SBI also, lot of committees have been formed to monitor the accounts and also see that once it becomes recognizing the NPA, it has to be done immediately. Also, recovery measures. All these have got focus after this spike in NPAs. And also, we are SBI has been aggressively trying to improve the credit appraisal system. A lot of steps have been taken to see that proper due diligence is done and proper appraisal is done of the units before sanction of loans. So in the years to come, though it has spiked during the last 2-3 years, that as you told, it is something not very enviable. In the years to come, NPA percentage will go down. But then it is also related to the economy, you should see. If the economy is not doing well, banks will be the first to suffer.
Yes, absolutely.
So if the economy picks up in the months to come, NPA also will be coming down.
Yes, sir. So also it has got something to do with the current liquidity crunch, the decline in demand. So this might be one of the reasons for this. And so one last question. So for students who want to pursue a career in banking, so what would you recommend? How to go about it? So are there any advice given by you for students who want to pursue in this particular sector? Sir, about the scope in the financial sector. Yes, sir.
See, in the financial sector, there are a lot of opportunities for young people who are coming out from colleges and all. In SBI especially, I will tell you, the largest public sector bank,
Yes.
having more than 200 foreign officers. And it provides, like it's a, I'll tell you, a financial conglomerate working in all facets of banking.
Yes.
Therefore, any fresher who joins the banking, join or take banking as a career, you'll find that you get a lot of satisfaction because there is a lot of areas where he can get exposure like that. He can have good exposure in domestic banking, retail banking, wholesale banking, treasury, investments, forex, and also get exposure to foreign credit operations and all when he gets posting abroad. But in my case, I have got 2 foreign postings which improved my perspective about banking, credit, etc. Most youngsters can join by writing the SBI Probationary Officer's exam, which is the starting point in the officer's cadre, which helps you if you are very capable enough to reach to the post of chairman.
Sure. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So it was great interacting with you. This is Shivangi from Niveshan, the Finance and Investment Club of IIM Shillong, signing off. Thank you.